So today we're going to be talking about the Two Fridas
Also known as Las Dos Fridas.
by Frida Kahlo herself. This painting was done in 1939. It's oil on canvas, and it's located in the Museo de Arte Moderno in Mexico City.
Frida was a Mexican painter, often thought of as a surrealist by others. Surrealism was a movement dedicated to the expressing the unconscious imagination as it was expressed in dreams, although she did not classify her work as surrealist due to its primary focus on portraiture.
Right, which most of her portraits actually focus on
Only the portraiture.
only her, yeah, mostly her. Her father was German, and her mother was Mexican.
She was married to Diego Rivera, who is also a Mexican painter, although he primarily painted murals.
Right.
Yeah.
So this piece was actually made during her divorce from Diego, which was a hard time in her life.
These hardships are especially conveyed in the Frida on the left, which is the rejected and the unloved Frida, whereas the Frida on the right is still loved by Diego.
Right, exactly. The inspiration actually to this piece was due to her loneliness when she had polio at the age of 6, and it caused her right leg to be completely deteriorated.
Yeah, so she was inside most of the time and just very lonely. She created an imaginary friend, which actually was herself. So she internalized all her pain, which is portrayed in this because that's what she does in this painting.
She's a very strong woman.
Yeah, she is.
Her attire actually is interesting. The Frida on the left has a European style showing her father's heritage.
Yeah, which is German. And the Frida on the right is wearing a traditional Mexican garment, also known as a Tijuana, which is very appropriate for the Frida on the right because she is still loved by Diego, who is Mexican, as well as her mother is.
Right, and actually if you notice, both of the dresses are longer than foot length. And I believe that's due to the fact that her right leg was completely deteriorated. It was not pretty.
Yeah, it was deteriorated due to polio.
And you know, another thing that actually wasn't pretty is the completely shattered and broken heart in the left Frida that's being exposed from the bodice of her dress. This is due to the divorce and all the rough things she was going through with Diego.
Also, her abortions and all her physical pain she's going through.
Yeah, exactly.
On the right, the loved Frida has a whole healthy heart, and it's stronger than the Fridas on the left due to Diego's love and acceptance of her.
Right, and if you take a closer look, there are veins that are sort of pulling the piece together, you know, attaching everything together, sort of to the hearts and to the two Fridas.
On one end of the shattered heart are pincers, which are cutting off connection from Diego. Frida once said to Diego, "My blood is the miracle that travels in the veins of the air from my heart to yours."
Right, and attached to the heart on the Frida on the right is a vein that leads to a miniature portrait of Diego Rivera as a young child. But the vein actually doesn't serve as a vein anymore. It more serves as an umbilical cord due to the fact that
she treated him not only as a lover, but also as a son.
Or she thought of him as like a child more than as a lover, exactly.
There is also a vein connecting the left and the right Frida and their hearts, symbolizing their unity as one being.
Also, their hands sort of symbolize their unity once again. The Frida on the right, or the loved Frida, is obviously the stronger of the two.
Yeah, the one on the left is very weak and even pale, and the one on the right is taking her hand kind of as a protector because she is stronger.
So I'd like to focus on the blood on the dress. It's disturbing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Right, and it really shows her physical and emotional pains, you know? Like,
from car accidents and abortions and miscarriages, and also from Diego himself, clearly.
Clearly. Right, and the placement of the blood is relating to the physical issues and accidents that she had, like the car accidents and the abortions.
And the miscarriages.
And the miscarriages. The emotional side to this is that she's trying to
cut off the connections with Diego with the pincers, as we said before.
Exactly.
Um, Although she does not succeed in cutting off the blood flow completely, which is why there's a lot of blood falling onto the dress.
She still actually wants to be passionate for the things that she used to be passionate for, like her former lover and her career and her family.
Which is why the blood doesn't stop completely at the pincers.
Right, that would make her weaker, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Exactly. So let's move on to her use of symbolism with color.
Yeah, the cobalt blue on the blouse of the Frida on the right, she actually wrote in her diary that cobalt blue in her paintings means love, purity, and electricity.
And specifically in this painting, in the garment, in the Mexican garment, she, for the Frida on the right, she feels love and that Mexican fire that she had with Diego.
Yeah, just romance. She's completely
Exactly.
loved by him, unlike the emptiness that the Frida on the left feels, which is why she's in white. She's weak and empty and vulnerable, as she has been due to this divorce.
Which is what she wanted to express using the color white.
Just as the colors of the dresses on the two Fridas differentiate from each other, so does the skin tone, as the Frida on the left appears to be more European than the one on the right.
Who has a tanner skin tone.
Yeah, because she is more Mexican than the one on the left.
So I'd like to take a look at the background now.
Ooh, so nice.
No, not really. Actually, it shows her loss of hope, with the lack of sunlight coming through and the dark background that sort of goes with her dark past. It's a big part of it.
Oh, all her struggles that she goes through. Clearly, before we talked about her pains, her physical and emotional pains, which were caused by this dark past.
I mean, overall, she was just a very unhappy lady.
She wasn't really unhappy as much as she was forced to deal with her problems internally, as this painting displays completely.